I have the honor of interviewing Anna Alt this morning. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning. Well, I don't usually say good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. And want to tell people where we're sitting at while we're doing this interview?
Yes, we are at the O'Fallon Buick GMC dealership. I am getting my oil changed, and we wanted to have a meeting together. And I said, "How about while my oil is getting changed?"
First off, you got to ask the question: what high school did you go to?
Oh, I love this question. I went to Wentzville High School.
So you are a local St. Charles County person.
I am local, but here's the thing. I was the last graduating class of only one Wentzville High School. So I did not go to Holt. I did not go to Timberland. I went to Wentzville.
See, you and I have something in common in the respect that I went to Hazelwood High School.
When there was only one?
When there was only one, and people go, which one did you go to? I go, well, Hazelwood. Well, there was three of them. I go, yeah, I went to, and there was one Hazelwood High School.
Yes, we do have that in
you
common.
were born and raised in St. Charles County?
Wentzville. Yep, my parents moved out to Wentzville in the early 80s. And
where'd they move from?
My dad was from Creve Coeur. My mother was from Lake of the Ozarks.
So they're not the typical St. Charles County people, North County transplants?
Nope, they are not North County transplants, no.
Which that's probably 80% of the St. Charles County population.
It is, yes.
Okay, college?
I graduated, I got my associate's degree from St. Charles Community College.
Really?
Yep. And then I went to UMSL for a year.
No kidding. So you were one of the first classes of SCUCA back in the day, as I call it?
I don't know if I was one of the first. This was 2002. I think I had been around for a while. My ex-husband and I, Daniel Alt, we are good friends. We started LSL Finishes. It's a general contracting design build company. So you think kitchen, bathroom, basements. And I'm all about the trades.
And as I am too, even though I'm college educated, I'm a big fan of, you know who Mike Rowe is?
Oh, yeah, like Dirty Jobs?
Yeah, and he's got a whole thing he's doing with the Trade Foundation. And I'll throw one at you. You probably didn't know. I found this out about 2-3 weeks ago, and I talked about it on my radio show. Do you know who's giving away college scholarships? Well, not necessarily college, but for junior colleges for the study of the trades?
Who?
Metallica.
Oh.
The group Metallica,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, in this area, not St. Charles Community College, but ECC, East Central Community College in Union, actually has 4 different trade programs that they have on their books that are available to the Metallica Foundation, and that Metallica literally is writing a check to these educational institutions for people who are learning the trades, welding, HVAC, stuff like that.
Good to know. Well, Dan Alt was a huge Metallica fan. Maybe my son can get that scholarship.
Find out if he knows about that, because it's up until recently it hasn't been well publicized. And I saw an article about it. I thought to myself, this is bizarre. So how did you get into the construction business? Dan
was a third-generation union painter. His grandfather had a painting company. His father had a painting company. And in 2008, when the economy kind of fell apart, union work pretty much fell apart. And so we looked at each other, figured out we have to pay our bills somehow. So at that time, we had bought, remodeled, and sold 4 of our own personal homes. And we decided to open up a general contracting company. We had that for 5 years. I always say I consider it successful because I was a stay-at-home mom, paid all of our bills. But we had no business owning a business. Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you should have a business doing it. So after 5 years, the work dried up. We looked at each other and we're like, now what? Dan went to work for a design build firm. He learned the business end of owning a business there. That's when we decided about a year later to open up LSL Finishes. In the beginning, it was just painting. Eventually, we hired Aaron Patterson, who was a floor layer by trade. He came and worked with us, and so we added the flooring side. And then we ended up getting a name for ourselves in the community as people who did pretty good work, said who we were, and I started being in the community, and people started asking if we did stuff like kitchen remodels. So we decided after a couple of years to go down the general contractor route again. And now here we are. We do larger, we'll do anything, but we'll do kitchen remodels. We just finished our largest job to date out in Defiance, a bed and breakfast. We took 2 grain bins. We framed the inside in between these 2 grain bins. It's a really cool sight to see out in Defiance. I highly recommend if you're you're going to go to wine country to check it out. But that's how we got started. Dan was a painter, and now 25 years later, I consider us one of the best contractors in the county.
Now, LSL, originally Lake St. Louis, is that what that stands for?
Yeah, so when we opened up LSL Finishes, we lived in Lake St. Louis. I love Lake St. Louis. I am still very active in the community. My kids were on the swim team and the water ski team, and did the golfing in Lake St. Louis. But yes, LSL stands for Lake St. Louis.
Any kind of general contracting? You're still doing flooring and painting and things like that?
Yep. Generally, it'll be a part of a larger job, but there's still one-off painting and flooring jobs. We do commercial work as well. We've made some different commercial spaces more beautiful, tenant space updating. But we mostly do the general contracting route.
I have a passion for people that have a passion for what they do. I love what I do. Mm-hmm. Do you love what you do?
I love what I do. And, a lot of times people will say, well, what do you do, Anna? Because between Dan and I, we've had 8 businesses. I always say some more successful than others, but I have made a business, growing businesses, by being out and about in the community. I, for years, would say I'm a terrible salesperson because I don't sell. Turns out I'm the best salesperson because nobody wants to be sold to. And I consider myself a community partner first. I'm in and active in 4 chambers of commerce. I own a weekly networking group. I've been in and active in Little Black Book. I'm a graduate of Vision St. Charles County Leadership. I've done the category exclusive networking groups. I love being out and about. And because I am out and about, that grows my businesses. And so yes, the long answer is I love what I do.
The networking group that you run, which I'm a member of, relatively new member. Mm-hmm. I joined, 2 or 3 months ago. Incredible group. How many people are officially in the group right now?
128 as of this morning.
Now, what's interesting about it is people who do know networking know about the BNI model, which essentially is category exclusivity. You're not that, correct?
Correct. And I love the BNI model. I think, BNI was one of the first to do that and to have a really great space for businesses. My group is like other ones that we are not category exclusive. So there are multiple people in any given industry. I often will say we believe in collaboration over competition. When you're out and about talking to normal people that are not in the networking world.
You mean there are normal people?
There are normal people. Definitely not networking people. I'm just kidding. But when you are talking to normal people who don't know the networking world, you should have 3 people in any given industry that you can refer, that you can trust to refer. So that's why we don't have category exclusivity in the Friday networking group, because I want to be able to refer 3 different insurance agents, 3 different real estate agents, you name it. So yeah.
Now, as far as the chambers, you're in 4 different chambers?
I am. I joined the O'Fallon Chamber first. That's where you and I met.
Right.
I love the O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce. It's they taught me how to be in a Chamber of Commerce. And then I joined the Western St. Charles Chamber. Tony and Belle are amazing humans. They're very kind. I grew up in Wentzville. At the time, our business was in our home at Lake St. Louis, so that made sense. And then I joined the Cottleville Weldon Spring Chamber. I love the Cottleville Chamber. It's a very fun chamber to be a part of. And then the last one was the St. Charles Regional Chamber, which I am a big fan of. They are, Scott Tate and the ladies in the office are great people. And if you ever have any questions about anything legislative-wise, that's the chamber to go ask.
Now, let me ask you a question on this. A lot of people join the chamber, and it's like, okay, I joined the chamber. Where's my business? Mm-hmm. Get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I just had a meeting yesterday with a lady who was not a fan of the Chamber of Commerce, and I said, well, what events have you been to? And she said, well, I went to the lunch. And I said, well, there's so many, under the umbrella of a Chamber of Commerce, there are so many different events at different times, different vibes, different locations where you're going to see different people. You have got to utilize whatever you join, whether it's a gym membership or a Chamber of Commerce membership. If you don't use what you are paying for, what is the point? So I always tell people use the 3-month rule. Use a Chamber of Commerce to its full potential. Put everything that is available to a Chamber of Commerce in your personal calendar. Make a commitment to yourself to do all of those events within reason. And after 3 months, if you feel like you don't think that you're going to eventually see some closed business, then you can make the decision it's not for you. But I can guarantee that if you utilize a Chamber of Commerce or any organization that is built for businesses, if you use it for 3 months, you are going to realize after 3 months, it's not what is good or bad. It's what's working for you and what's not working for you. And I'm certain that it will be working for you and your business. You might not have closed business right away. The whole purpose of networking and Chamber of Commerce is to be on top of mind for people to refer you. So that's my long answer.
Well, and the interesting thing about that is, and agree or disagree with me, each chamber has a little bit of different flavor.
Absolutely. I always tell people to date chambers. Figure out which one vibes with you the best.
When did you was there a moment when you got into business where you sort of realized, okay, maybe an epiphany moment where you thought to yourself, I need to get more business. How do I get that? And how did it end up in you being such a networker?
Well, so like I had said earlier, Dan and I had our first general contracting company for 5 years. And at that time, Dan had been invited to a couple of different B&Is. And so he knew about this whole concept of networking before I did. Fast forward, when we opened up LSL Finishes, at the time I was working as a teacher assistant in Wentzville. And I loved my job. Shout out to Frontier Middle School, one of the Wentzville schools. My plan was to, just be a teacher assistant for the entirety of my life. But Dan knew that we needed somebody out and about drumming up business and meeting people. So I resigned from teaching and started working with Dan full time on the family business January of 2018. But I took that whole concept of 3 months because I had learned about the 3-month rule years prior. And I did make the commitment to myself that I was going to hit it hard for 3 months. And Dan had said, he's a numbers guy. Dan said, okay, well, we have to see the ROI. That's rate of, what is it?
Return on investment.
Return on investment.
Yes.
See, I can't stand the acronyms. Anyway, Dan says, we need to have an ROI for what you're doing. I could tell within the first 2 weeks of this whole concept of networking. And for anyone who's listening and doesn't understand or doesn't know the word networking, essentially it is meeting people for a common interest, whether that's a business common interest or a school board interest. You're networking all the time, whether you know it or not. But so Dan says, we need to know that the ROI is working for you out and about. I knew within the first 2 weeks what I was doing was going to be a long game. I knew that it was going to be the best game, but I saw people like Shelly Barr. Shout out to Shelly Barr. She's been with you for years. I could tell that what she was doing was what I was going to do someday, meaning I wanted to meet people all over the place. I knew that when you are networking, that it is all about not what you know, but who you know. So I would say within the first 2 weeks of me networking, I knew that it was going to work. I knew that eventually we were going to grow our business.
I look at you and I think to myself, this woman is extremely comfortable who she is and very confident in who she is. Is that an act or is that for real?
No, it is not an act. For a long time, it might have been an act, but I have the best life of anyone I know.
Interesting.
I have purposely, through therapy, through hanging out with the right people, through being true to myself, I am confident in who I am, for sure.
How do you feel what's happened with the role of women being empowered as opposed to men running everything for decades?
Ooh, well, I just like humans. I associate myself with great humans. guys or girls.
Anna, I appreciate you sitting down with us. This is our one-to-one. If people want to get in touch with you, websites, phone numbers, things like that.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm all over social media. Find me on Facebook, and if we're friends, I'll accept you on Facebook. My LSL Finishes has a website, lslfinishes.com. I've got a company called AMAC 636 where I help people be a walking billboard for whatever business or organization. And FridayNetworkingGroup.com. When somebody needs a place to sit at a table, I want to make sure that they have a spot at my table.
And if someone wants to be a guest, how do they go about doing
Show
that?
up on Fridays, 9 to 10:30 at the Rec House.
Just right there off of Highway N in Cottleville.
Yes, sir.
Anna, appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much.